Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed and today I'm going to show you how to install Odoo 12 with CRM and Windows Server 2012 with high availability. In today's video I'm going to cover the purpose of the system diagram, installation with demonstration, how failover work, only demonstration, and how did it reflect on me. The purpose. The purpose of the system is to manage all the company's relations and interaction from the employees to the customers or vice versa, to improve the information arrangement, task automation, and teamwork efficiency with high availability. This is the system diagram. This is the domain controller, and we will be using two servers to host Odoo. Their names are server 1 and server 2. And this is the storage. All virtual machines will be running on Windows Server 2012 R2 with 4 GB RAM. In the installation, we're going to set up a cluster. First, we're going to set up the cluster failover. First, we're going to configure ISCSI and then install failover cluster features on both nodes, which is server 1 and server 2. And then we're going to set up the IP addresses, and then we're going to create the cluster and configure quorum. Then we're going to install Odoo. We're going to install Odoo only on server 1 in the demonstration, but we will have to install the server 2, but I'm not going to demonstrate that. And then I'm going to show you some features of Odoo. So now I'm going to demonstrate the installation. As you can see, I've already set up the virtual machines that I'm going to work on and connected them to the domain. First, we are going to set up iSCSI. On server 1, click on Tools, select iSCSI Initiator, and click Yes. On the target, put the fully qualified domain name and press Connect, and done. Then click Tools and select Computer Management and go to Disk Management. As you can see, we have hard disk from storage server. Right click on disk 1 online, right click again and initialize the disk. Press OK. Then create a volume. Next, give it the letter H. Next, the name of the volume is shared disk. Then click next and finish. Then go to the other disk and do the same. Letter Q. Quorum disk. Next and finish. Now on server 2, go to iSCSI Initiator. Press yes. Put the target name, which is storage01.contoso.com, and click connect. You don't have to do the same steps as before. We can go to volume and devices and auto configure. Now we are done with iSCSI. Now on server 1, go to manage, and we're gonna add the features on both devices, which are both the servers. In feature, select the cluster failover and add the feature. On server 2, do the same. After completing installing the feature, now we're going to set up the IP addresses. On server 1, go to the network sharing center and go to the Ethernet number 3. Go to properties, to the IPv4, and put the IP address 192.168.5.2 and the subnet mask is 255.255.255. Then go to the other server and do the same. The IP address will be 192.168.5.2. Now that we have done setting the IP addresses, now we're going to create a failover cluster. Go to server 1, go to failover cluster manager and validate configuration. Enter server 1 and add it. Add server 2 as well. Then press next. Run all the tests. Next. Now we are ready to create a cluster. Enter a cluster name, which is cluster 1. Set an IP address for it. And we're done. As you can see, we have created the cluster. You can see the rows. You can configure the rows later on. You can see the nodes, which are server 1 and server 2. We can see the disk that we've created, which is cluster disk and cluster disk number 2. And here you can create the rules. Now we are gonna configure the quorum. Next, advanced quorum configuration, then press next, select the both servers, choose the server, the disk that has 2 GB. Now we are done. Now we are ready to install Odoo. Open the installer. Select your language. Next. Agree. Next. I'm gonna accept the default settings and press next and install. Now we finished. And now Odoo will start. First, it will ask us to create a database name, and we're gonna name it project. The email address will be our credentials to enter our administrator username and password. The email will be the username and the password is the password. We're gonna create the database. After creating the database, it will take us to the application site. Here we can install several applications. For our project, we're gonna install CRM. Once it's installed, it will take us to the discuss page. From the discuss page in the menu, we can go to the CRM. In the CRM, we can see many things. We can create a new opportunity. For example, we're gonna name it car sale. We're gonna create customer. We're gonna name it Ahmed Car. We're not gonna create anything for that. I'm gonna give him an address. Any random name. Manama. You can give him a job position, such as sales, phone number, mobile number, email address. We can give him a title. I'm gonna give him a doctor title. You can add tags as well. You can add notes to the opportunity. For example, we're gonna put a note that says sell this car fast. Gonna press save. The expected revenue. For example, we're gonna put 5,000 and add. This is how the opportunity will look like. Now, for example, if you sold the car, you'll mark it as one, and if you didn't, you'll mark it as lose, and we're gonna mark it as one. Yes, congratulations for your first deal. Now I'm gonna show you how to create a user. Go to settings, users and companies, users. I'm gonna create a user. I'm gonna name it Ali. And for the email address, ali@polytechnic.bh. And save. Now I will have to give him a password. So I'm gonna go change the password, give him a password, change password, and then I'm gonna go log out. And I will test the user. And now I have logged in. Now we're done installing Odoo. Now I'm going to show you how failover works. As you can see, the server 2 is now active. And if we go to the nodes, we can see the two servers. If we right click on server number 2, we can pause the server. And we can go back to the dashboard. As you can see now, server 1 is active. Now if you go back to the nodes and resume server 2 and pause server 1, you can see now that server 2 is working. And now for the reflection part. What I have learned. I've learned how to create video and edit the video. I gained more knowledge on how IT administrators face in the company. I learned how to install system on a virtual machine and how systems and applications keep working 24/7. Difficulties. I faced dependency hell and Linux system. Second difficulty was it was very difficult to go and work on the campus instead of like working at home. Finally, finding the right documentations. It was very hard for me to find documentations, even though the system was easy to install. What I would change if I would do it again. I'll pick the systems earlier and start working on them earlier. I would improve my video editing. I would do more research. For the recommendation, I recommend to provide working systems to choose from instead of going and researching them and wasting time. I would specify more information in the project document. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video.